been said a bard's life can often be a hard life, or hill and jail to rove and always move from town to town. And some folk have inquired if ever we grow tired of ranging all around the world and never settling down.
But one should be a little wary of remaining stationary. 'Cause comfortable is lovely, but it's not the way we grow. When life starts to unravel, pick up your pack and travel. You'll find a strange serenity in places you don't know. Wriggle-dee-dum-dee-doo-dah-terry-o-dee. There's so much to see beyond the open door. It's outward bound we go. Who knows what we'll find that we've never found before. Adventures waiting further down the road. It's waiting for you further down the road. You've got no map for showing which direction you are going.
But why start on a journey if you know where it will end?
And once you recognize,
to anticipate surprise, you'll relish every twist and turn that lies around the bend. Wriggle-dee-dum-dee-doo-dah-terry-o-dee-da-dee-da-dee. There's so much to see beyond the open door. It's outward bound we go. Who knows what we'll find that we've never found before. Adventures waiting further down the road. It's waiting for you further down the road. Lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie. Lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie. Lie-da-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie. La-da-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie. La-da-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie. The world has got its demons. There are many reasons why you'd find it harder to be brave than be afraid. But every life could use some danger. Every friend was once a stranger. Ships are safe in harbor, but that's not why ships are made.
Wriggle-dee-dum-dee-doo-dah-terry-o-dee-da-dee. A fwit-dee-dee-dee-dee. There's so much to see beyond the open door. It's outward bound we go. Who knows what we'll find that we've never found before. Adventures waiting further down the road. It's waiting for you further down the road. Lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie. Lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie. Lie-da-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie. Ya-da-da-da-da-lie-da-lie. Adventures waiting further down the road. Let's go! Lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie. Lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie. Lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie. La-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. La-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Crafting, crafting, crafting with Joshi and Cubby. What will we make today? What is the dice of the day? Crafting, creating, collaborating. What would an octopus say? Trivia questions, hooray! Creating, clickbaiting, can't hardly waiting for the crafting show. A crafting show with Cubby and Shoshi.
Hey ho, Crafterinos! How you doing this beautiful morning? Okay, it's afternoon, but it's all morning until the sun sets to me. If the sun rises, that means it's very, very, very late at night. So you may have noticed there is no Shoshi this week. Unfortunately, she had to report early to the show. She didn't have that little cushion of time that she could stop off and join us in the car this morning. And coming up, there will be one more episode that she's going to miss. But after that, the run of, I believe this is all student shows, and I believe the run will be over in a few weeks, and then we will have her back full time. She'll be all ours again. So, yeah, let's check the chat. Hello, everyone. Oh, I wish, Dr. Andy, I tried to book Zool, but on short notice, it's just not going to happen. I don't have that kind of clout. I mean, maybe if it was like Soft Autumn or Paulo or Mab talking to Zool, they have a lot more sway in the other world. I think, I don't know. I believe they do. Hello, Zarkenfruit. So, I'm just sipping my coffee, eating my breakfast corn dog, which is a real thing. It's the breakfast I've been on lately. It's Jimmy Dean. That's true. Handler Z would be absolutely the best person on the channel to talk to Zool. Good point, Fantasy Palette. If I seem a little spacey, I had a show last night. I did a clown piece at a house show, but it was good, but I'm a little sleepy. There's a variety show on like last Wednesday, third Wednesday. I always forget, and in fact, I would have forgotten about this show if a friend of mine, who I'd gone to the last couple with, hadn't texted me to let me know he couldn't make it. And I was like, that's this week. So I'm going to do the same piece there, which is exciting. I'm going to change a couple of small things up and do that. You know, that thing where you just like micro adjustments and you try to, it's like, I mean, performance is a craft. And any craft goes through, you get the broad, you get the general idea of it down, the shape is coming in, and then it's about the details, and then it's just more and more about the details. So I love messing with the details. In fact, because I've been thinking so much about clown and stuff, as a thing I grabbed, I just got some gloves in. And don't worry, I'm not just going to talk about gloves. But if you think about it, gloves are the mask of the hand. And so I have to admit, I've always been a little obsessed with gloves. I have a lot of gloves. I don't have many fancy gloves. I buy inexpensive gloves often, though. I should Sorry, that made me think of one. Well, so gloves and clowns. It is a thing. I mean, like traditionally. The problem with traditionally is it all depends on exactly how far back you go with a lot of traditions, particularly with clown. A lot changes from century to century, aesthetically at least. But if we're going at least since I have a soft spot for pre-20th 19th century clown aesthetic. I gotta admit, like, if you see what the clowns were wearing in the in the 1800s, it's pretty. I love that look. I like it better than, I mean, 20th century circus clown gives us probably the widest and the most committed styles of clowning, because it was professionally done. It was, there were many clowns together, all of these reasons, so much to pick and choose from, so much beautiful. But definitely in the circus clown tradition, there's a thing where after you paint your face, like, you wear your costume and you paint your face, and the only thing that's left that's not entirely differentiated from your normal state are your hands. And, like, honestly, I've sometimes when you look through, like, a book of clowns, I mean, we all have just books of clowns, right? That so we can flip through, get aesthetic inspiration. It's very off-putting to see the hands. Like, when somebody is absolutely, and, like, they're wearing a wig, they're wearing full makeup, a full spectacular and very intricate costume, and then you just see normal human hands, and it's a little bit off-putting. But I didn't really like what I mostly wear is a style suit. And I don't like white gloves with that particularly. It doesn't really match. And white cotton gloves are the baseline. They're the standard for marching bands and performers alike. And I found out that you can get black cotton gloves pretty easily. I have a pair of those, and I didn't really like how that looked. So it has been a thing kind of preying in the back of my mind a lot about what would be the perfect glove thing for me. So I have a contender that I'm pretty excited about. And you know what? I'm going to show you all. I hope you enjoy it. Although what's really fun is cotton gloves with the snap, like marching band, are called parade gloves. I think as a military thing, because parade dress is the most formal uniform styling, and you wear those gloves with it, and that's where I was going to say, like, who did it first, marching bands or military? But marching bands have kind of always done a vaguely militaristic aesthetic. So obviously they're following military, But if you want a black pair, which why wouldn't you? I love a good pair of cotton gloves. They're lightweight. I love to be able to have a pair of gloves. I love a nice pair of black gloves. If you're look, a great way to showcase a mask is to dress all in black, layered, cloaky, otherworldly, and then the mask is very featured. And of course you need gloves. You don't want, like, hands floating around, or maybe you do, but if you want that, then you want that to be showcased. So you probably would still want gloves. It's just, it all feels more complete if you have a nice pair of black gloves that you can put on with your all black outfit. In my head, now that I've said that out loud, it sounds less logical than when it just lived in my head, but it's still true to me, so I'm just gonna live by it. But what is funny, I know I started trying to say this like 3 minutes ago, but I'm finally there, is to find them. They are black parade gloves, which I'm not even that into emo. And I'm like, nice. I wonder if that was the inspiration for the Black Parade. Probably not. That feels like something that can just occur to you conceptually. Like that just feels like, yeah, you can see on the field of perception where that idea can occur very naturally. There's no need to seek some sort of spark for inspiration on stuff that just grows naturally from the surroundings. Which I have, it's a little harder to get parade gloves in other colors, but that's something I'm working on. I mean, you can get simple cotton gloves in colors, but like, for stuff like gloves and masks and less so dice, because they're thing. I was going to say most of my obsession things, but particularly with costumey things, either I will buy them because I have a show that it will be perfect for. If it will help a costume that I'm going with, I will buy it. That's fine. If I don't have a very specific need for it, then I won't get it unless I can get a really, really good deal. If I can get it on sale, yeah. So I'm pretty sure at some point, probably this summer, I'm just going to have a couple of days where I get completely obsessed with different colors of cotton gloves. And I find somewhere that I can get them for relatively inexpensive. And then ideally, pie in the sky, I'll have an entire rainbow of gloves. But one thing I thought of was half gloves. And half gloves would be kind of, half gloves are a good aesthetic choice. I feel like that works with kind of a vaudevillian, anachronistic kind of suit look. Maybe makes him look like poorer, like, oh, he's got to protect his hands kind of stuff. But I tried them and I'm like, well, I still have the fingers. The fingers are still exposed and they're still recognizably human. This isn't a huge thing. It's a very small detail, but you get obsessed about the little details, especially when you're at that point when you feel like the big things are rather taken care of, they're in a good place and they're progressing nicely, then you can focus on things like clown gloves. And I tried them with an underglove and then a half glove, and it felt very uncomfortable. But I kind of liked the look. But also, I had a black underglove and a red half glove. And I didn't hate it, but I didn't particularly like it. So, my preferred underglove is this little thing I found. I basically, I was like, well, that was so uncomfortable. It was distracting and it was annoying, which is not something I want to do for myself when I'm about to perform. It will break my, just terrible plan. So eventually I started thinking about why it was so uncomfortable. And because I was using a cheapy little half glove. The half gloves I mostly have are very cheap. I got a pack of a bunch of different ones. They're fine for what they are, but as an additional layer, They were awful. So this is the underglove style I like. It's called a musician's glove. And it is absolutely incredible. It is skin tight, and like your manipulation is fine. The only thing you lose in manipulation sense is a little bit of the grip of your fingers, which you can get used to pretty easily. But the rest of it, it feels very natural. It feels wonderful clean. And I found out just this week, it comes in a tan, which, when combined with a nicer half glove, a more comfortable half glove, has a kind of, I really dig. Well, let me throw both half gloves on and you can see what the underglove effect is like. It's very subtle, but I kind of feel like it just makes your eyes glide over the fingers. If you look too closely, I think it might look weird because you're like, oh, your fingers have no details. But if you're looking that closely, you'll see the texture of the glove. So you'll see that it is a glove. But, ooh, thank you, Dr. Andy. Kitty, it's because I'm just a weirdo that loves talking about my obsessions. I'm talking about gloves right now. No, I just, I think I found like a perfect clown glove solution. And honestly, I gotta say, if any of you are very into gloves, but you've been frustrated that once you put gloves on, it's very hard to do things. I'm already pretty inhibited in a physical sense. I'm incredibly clumsy. I am dyspraxic, which is literally Greek for being bad at doing stuff. That's literally what my condition is. It's just being bad at doing things. So yeah, as my gloves are, I really like how it looked. I'll be honest, I didn't wear them last night, but that's because I put everything on and it was a house party and it was a warm night. And I just like, you know, that thing when you put your full costume or outfit on and your body just releases like every sweat gland shoots out some sweat. You just like, it's like you get a full minute of sweat in a second. Your body just goes boom. All right, that's better. Like it just releases that and it's like, yep, that's what I needed. My body did that and I was like, I'm not putting gloves on. I don't want to put gloves on. I don't think it'll matter tonight. It's a very intimate show. I mean, I don't think this matters at all, honestly. Like I don't know that this is enough, but it is a small problem that my brain has been working on finding a solution on. Like just the back of my head has been looking for this solution for years now. It's been years. So it's just so gratifying that this little itch in the back of my head is good. And the only thing, like, I love the look of these. There's a little logo, but it's pretty subtle. Also, these are designed to protect your fingers while you're playing guitar, to protect your fingers from the frets. So they're mostly sold single. They're available in black, white, and this brown. And I mean, everyone is kind of, I think everyone is kind of always in the back of their head trying to find ways to make themselves look less human for when they need to look a little bit less human. Merk. Yeah. Thanks, Kitty. Thank you. Yeah! Reverend Tommy's here! Oh, my hero. Sorry, knowing the spam is going to be taken care of. But they're available in white, black, and this tan. I have them in black already. I don't have a white pair, and now I kind of want a white pair just to have them. Because it's also like, I love gloves. I a little bit hate wearing gloves. It's the kind of thing, like, once you commit to it, it's not so bad. But yeah, but these are so easy to think. I'll tell you, there's a YouTuber I like who makes very strange Lego creations. Yeah! High five, Reverend Tommy. Thank you, Reverend Tommy. My brain just derailed. Oh, I was saying where I found these out. They always wore white gloves, and I was like, they're able to manipulate Lego bricks with those gloves. I need to know what those gloves are. So I just, one day I started a web search, and I'm like, I know that there are very tight fabric, because it's close up, you can see the weave, gloves that are designed to give you full finger manipulation, but the advantages of a glove. I need to know more. And I eventually was able to figure out that the search term is musician's glove. So enjoy that little tip. Anyone out there that loves gloves. It almost feels like, I mean, they're made out of nylon, but they kind of feel like nylon stockings, but thicker. I've never really worn tights. They're probably just like wearing a pair of tights for your hand, because you can like feel the wind on your skin in the weave, but different. So it's that weird kind of like, oh, my sensory information is changed by this garment. It's got that in common, but totally obsessed. And now I have these lovely gloves that I can put on, and they go down enough so a sleeve will cover. So I think they'll be perfect for if I need to, like, you know, look like I'm a mannequin or something. I have a couple of very blank looking creepy faces, and these with a flesh tone creepy face, these gloves, oh boy, is that a good thing. See, that's the thing. You might not need to. That being said, fingers cut off gloves looks really freaking cool. Like, I'm not going to deny that half gloves look awesome. There's a lot of reasons still to have half gloves. Actually, I know I mentioned this once before, but I was so wrong about fingerless gloves for so long. I did not understand. I looked at them and I was like, well, the fingertips are the part that get chilliest. How's that going to help? And then eventually I wore a nice, I love this pair. They're military surplus. They're just very comfortable and wonderful to wear on a cold day. Because I found out that what they do is they keep this part warm, which helps a lot. Plus, when it's really, really cold, gloves don't do a whole lot because there's not enough mass in a finger to really keep the heat in. So eventually it loses, and then the glove is cold, and it's just, you know, bugging you. That doesn't happen. So now with the fingerless gloves, you put them in your pocket, and your fingers warm up way quicker. It's so brilliant. And I'm like, Cubby, I can't believe just how wrong you were about this. You should have realized that if it lasts this long, you know what it is? It's because I always thought they looked so cool. I was like, People are only wearing them because they look good. They're not useful as gloves. Turns out they're better for a lot of applications. Oh, yeah. Like, here's the thing. Any assistant glove you're wearing to, like, help you with stuff looks awesome. That's just true. Because you're doing something. You're being cool and you're creating. And, like, anything that helps you be awesome. I think that's why sports equipment always looks so cool. But it's really hard to pull off if you're not in that context. I'd love to just, like, casually throw on some catcher's gear. Just hang out in it. But, like, it's not going to happen. But those shin guards, man. You can't tell me I'm the only one. You can't tell me that no one has ever been like, yeah. You know what? If civilization collapses and we're in some kind of wandering the wasteland situation and I, against all odds and intentions, survive, I'm going to find myself a nice pair of catcher shin guards and I'm going to wear them around. Actually, I wish I had them for a play I did earlier this year, because I was a comic character and there's this fight that it was Merry Wives of Windsor, and it turns out there are two dialect characters in it, a French and a Welsh. I was the Welsh guy and there was the French guy. And there was this thing where he challenged me to a duel and I'm terrified and he's angry and we're like headed toward each other and everyone's laughing about it, but they want us to be safe. And I show up for the duel and I was like, man, I wish I had some catcher shin guards and some football shoulder pads, because, like, this dude would panic. And you know what would set it off perfectly? A cricket bat. A cricket bat would have been the perfect improvised weapon for that moment, which means there is birthed in my head a deep desire to find a cricket bat for cheap, inexpensive, or free. I'm not just going to buy a cricket bat because I'm never going to play cricket with it. I just want it as a silly prop. So, considering that the best use for it has already passed in my life, I will hesitate to lay out a significant amount of money, which would be more than $5. So, like, if I ever see one randomly at a yard sale, oh boy. Ooh. Oh, Sally A. I'm going to be honest, it took me a split second to realize you weren't talking about an actual alpaca. Which I'm going to be honest, I would not look forward to drying an alpaca. I don't know. It probably would be fun, but that's an afternoon. That is an afternoon washing and drying an alpaca. Definitely don't ever want to do it with a llama. Don't trust llamas. Okay, I know I've heard of the name, but it's not blinking. So, Kitty, tell me some more about it. Also, Kitty, do you want to jump on? I sent you the link on Facebook in the usual manner. But if you would like it resent, that would be very easy to accomplish. Just let me know. And yeah, that's the downside. I mean, football shoulder pads aren't too bad. I know, because in December, I'm a zoo animal at the Philadelphia Zoo, sometimes a lion and sometimes a rhino. And the incredible costume for the rhino is built on a foundation of football shoulder pads that are then extended. I can't walk through doorways straight on. It's not possible. I need to. Doorways are actually a huge challenge in this costume. I need to go sideways and then, because the helmet is gigantic as well, and then shimmy. And then there's a tail, so I've got to do a quick turn. I love it so much. Yes. Yes, it did click. The YouTube channel, I've watched a couple of her projects. She's very cool. I'm not a regular watcher. I can't remember if I've watched the glove one or if I just saw it in my feed. I'm going to have to check. If I haven't watched that, I should watch it. That's probably really cool. But I saw when she made the Wheel of Time book, and I just watched her make a rug. The house moving castle gigantic rug thing. Oh, totally understand, Kitty. Thank you for letting me know. If the situation shifts at all, obviously, you are always very, very welcome. And like, what's more than welcome? We're just like so happy to see you always. Nerdiness is no one's ally. It's like the Force. It's just there. Some people define their lives by it, some people don't, but it's always there. I don't know if there's a light side and a downside. Mostly the dark side of nerdiness is just, white supremacism in our culture. Really? It's like the dark side of geekdom is just, all of the crap that's in our brains from being American, from living in this very broken land where, yeah, sorry, it's just, it takes so long to like deprogram yourself to actually see the state of things. And then you're like, well, why can't we just why can't we just stop lying about it? You're a bunch of racist buttholes. You're evil jerks. Just admit it. Yeah. Sorry, that's a downer. Let's not talk about downer. Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch some more of her then, because I have liked her stuff. I just like, you know how it is when you start casually watching and then you get more and more into a creator. But this is a good push. And what's nice is it means I have most of her back catalog available to me. Well, I'm not allowed to take the costume with me, but I would do an interview in my Rhino character. Forgive me, Dr. Andy, I don't know what the studio is, so I don't know if it's podcastery or videocastery, or just an actual studio. Maybe it's an art studio. Oh, studios are always wonderful. If somebody invites me to a studio, I'm not going to say no. Ever. But it's actually, I mean, most of what I do as a Rhino is just charge at people because they're coming down the path and I'm startled, and then profusely apologizing because but maybe I better cut down on the caffeine. This is big silly, and like, oh my god, sorry, the costume has a lot of bounce to it. So you start moving, it moves with you, it keeps moving, like it's a fun ride. Well, unfortunately, that costume is, it's not under lock and key, but it goes through so much wear and tear over the course of a season that, like, it's definitely not a loner. Also, it is massive. There's just so many. There's like an orientation to putting it on. Like, the first time you're a rhino, you are strongly encouraged to get one of the crew members. I don't know, we have like 2 costume crew people who are just kind of helping keep everything working, because like some of the costumes are very elaborate because it's everything lights up. There are stilt walkers, there are kangaroos built entirely out of mirrors. There is a lot that can go wrong on some of those costumes, so it's really good. Also, there's animatronic arms and tails now. There's a like, it's basically built for like fursuit kind of stuff. Like, you can kind of tell, well, it's one of those like hobbyist niche markets, because, you know, anyone who wants a programmable moving tail to wear, which, when you put it like that way, that's probably a pretty big market. Like, who doesn't want a tail? I didn't think I wanted a tail, and then I walked around with the tail, and I gotta tell you, it's worth it. Hey, if somebody was like, hey, you want a tail? Got this device. Make you grow a tail. I might ask more questions. Because if it's a very ugly, I'd want one that I could show off. I would want a pretty tail. I suppose that I should be confident that any tail my body grew would be pretty. But I'm not confident that I would grow a pretty tail. I would probably ask some more questions about the process before committing to it. But I'm terribly indecisive, so that's totally in keeping. Oh. That's true, Evelyn. It's not frustrating for everyone. For some people. Oh, well, yes. Obviously. Like, if I were asked, name one person who would jump at the chance to have a tail, I'm pretty sure you would be one of the first names that came to mind, Kitty. Would you want a cat tail, or would it not matter? Because of the kitty. Because also, a mermaid tail would fit you very well. But that would also come with a few difficulties, unless you could do splash style, where you could swap back and forth. That'd be pretty. Yeah, but deep down, Evelyn, what we're really asking is, would you accept a permanent tail that was a part of your anatomy? Is that something that you'd be like, yes, that would be excellent, or no, that would, I think that would be more problems than it was worth? Because I'm going to be honest, you asked me a year ago, I probably would have said, I like the aesthetic of a human with a tail, but like, it sounds like it's more trouble than it's worth. But now that I've walked around with a moving tail, yeah, I'd be very tempted. Oh yeah, prehensile tail would be good. Oh, and you could make like like, you could costume your tail. If you had a prehensile tail, you could make like a little glove thing that had like a barb if you played and put on some devil horns, and you could like carry the barb around in your tail and be like extra devilly. Okay, here's a question. Because cat girls usually have long hair. With cat ears, or the dream of cat ears, do you have 4 ears, or are these gone? Because I have to say, as a glasses wearer, I don't think I could give up my ears. But, oh, yes! You would, that would be, that's all the more reason that if anyone should have a tail, it should be you, Kitty. Yeah, I don't blame it. I just like, I like the cat ear aesthetic. I have some, eventually, whenever I'm looking at a cat ear dealie, eventually I wonder about if there's another pair of ears. Yeah, so no matter what the answer is, you would want to go. I understand. I totally understand. See, but what I think the only reason I have this question is because I have like a certain cognitive different distance from that concept. Now, horns, I would love a pair of horns. Just two short-ish horns right here, just subtly. I have a couple of pairs that I wear sometimes, and I'm like, yeah, that's what's been missing from your face, Cubby. You finally look complete. So yeah, that's what I would not hesitate on. I would want short ones. If the only option were larger, I might be tempting. If they were like big honkin' legend horns, it might be like tempting to do the whole Hellboy thing and like keep them trimmed, and because that is a badass look. Thank you, Kitty. And I think you should totally have a prehensile tail. Okay, well, and I mean, if you don't have ears, it's not like you can't wear glasses without ears, because you can always put like a tie. Basically, you can like, I mean, sometimes I wear my glasses just over my ear, and so they're basically just pinching my head, and they don't shift. So like, honestly, you could even make like a flat piece, so there was a little bit more resistance, so it just put there, and it wouldn't be like pinching into your head too much. Like, the glasses thing is absolutely solvable, but with the cognitive distance I have between wanting cat ears and having cat ears, that occurs to me before the like, yes, cat ears. Whereas horns, I'm like, okay, I love hats. Am I gonna be able to wear hats? It's going to be harder to wear hats if I have horns. I'm going to have to make sure they fit. It's going to be a whole different consideration, but worth it. It's worth it. It's worth not even think. Yes, but we absolutely want to see pictures of you in character, Evelyn. So please, do photos of you with the different glasses. Oh, pince-nez. Pince-nez is that style of glasses. I'm also kind of obsessed with different glasses form. This is fun because it's a little bit of a brag and it's a little bit of a cry for help. I do have a prescription monocle. I found a place that would make you prescription monocles, and I ordered one. And I have since learned that monocles are pretty difficult to wear if they're not fitted for your eye, which obviously is, I mean, prescription monocles as a service is already pretty astoundingly anachronistic. There's no, I mean, they might, but I mean, who would have that equipment? I think the only reason they can offer this is because they have a standard monocle frame. But I did find out that a little bit of eyelash glue will take care of it. So when the time comes for me to wear my monocle in a character costume, I will be able to. Yes. Yeah, that is a great way to wear hats in general. I'm just saying, I love the look of hats, but I also, as a dyspraxic autist and somebody with a lot of sensory issues, one of which is I am pretty sensitive to bright lights. And I have noticed that one of the ways I compensate for that is, I mean, I always have dark sunglasses. I have a few pairs of prescription sunglasses. They're nice and dark, good coverage, but I almost always pair them with a hat that I can get the brim to really block any light from above. And I didn't realize I was doing that to make life easier. I thought it was like, oh, I'm going out, I'll grab a hat. It's one wears hats out. But I have made sure that the hats that I wear, like my day-to-day go-to hats to wear around are, I like bucket hats and like flat caps, but I always get like larger, well, I have a big head, so I need a larger head. If I get a smallish flat cap and I put it on, it looks utterly ridiculous. So there's that factor, but it also, when I check for fit, I have always been, without realizing it, checking that I can position it in a good place to just narrow my field of vision and block out additional light. And I'm a little proud of myself for that. I'm like, way to go, buddy. Like, you didn't know it, but you were looking out for yourself. Way to go, Cubs. I will admit that the reason I own eyelash glue is well, I do have one pair of false eyelashes. But that's because I was at a show and the person running it was like, you need eyelashes. And she grabbed the most enormous pair of hot pink eyelashes and put them on me. And it was glorious. I could not wear my glasses because the eyelashes kept hitting them. They were huge and it was worth it. And, because they had been on my eyes, you can't really give that back. So I kept them because, like, I'm pretty sure I'm going to need hot pink eyelashes at some point. That's just something you want to make sure you're covered. But that's not why I bought the eyelash glue. I bought the eyelash glue because I was sticking sequins on my face as part of the rhino look. And they weren't lasting the whole night. And eventually I was like, I'm just going to get some eyelash glue and put one dot on. And now my rhino face sequins last the night. Okay. Thank you. Like a fascinator, because that would be kind of hilarious. You know what? I I'm not proud of this, but I'm less ashamed than I should be. I have a terrible stealing habit, but mostly stuff that won't be missed. Like, people won't really ever notice it's gone. I mean, I go to town on paper clips. I just grab some paper clips. I can't help myself. Little things like paper clips. I was doing a gig. They had these hats at a photo station, and I grabbed one because I like the color, but it's a little bit too small. So let me grab that kitty because I want to show you how it's not so small that it's awful, but I think it does a pretty good job of, yes, it's like as long as it's not, I was gonna say as long as it's not, but I've stolen more valuable things too. Like I have, like every once in a while. I do have a couple of really nice hats that, well, one was given to me by a different person who stole it from the organization. And the other one, I put it on while I was doing this gig. And it wasn't the person that hired me. It was a person from the site, and like they were also doing the gig. Like, they had arranged the greater gig, and then the guy who usually hires me got me in touch. And he was like, yeah, you should take that hat home. That hat looks great on you. And so it's a beautiful hat. I love it. Yes, I'm going to go get it. I know right where it is, but I think it's going to take me just about 30 seconds. So, like, it kind of works, but you can see how if it were any smaller, it would look very dumb. And as compared to, say, a flat cap that I would be more likely to wear, the difference, I would say, is rather palpable. But you can see how this, and this is one that I wear a lot day to day, I can really block out a lot of light if I need to. Like, it won't look great necessarily, but it's got a great function. But the nice thing about smaller hats is, just like Kitty was saying, if you do that back of your head, it helps. It kind of draws the I cannot object to that. Thank you very much, Kitty. I will wear this tiny hat proudly. Okay. A hat is no comparison for that, my friend. That is a heck of a score. Technically, the chair I sit in here, I stole years ago, but it was a very strange situation. It was, I was the head of the student committee that ran the student theater space. It was a very small college. So we had a main stage, and then we had a tiny black box theater behind a back stairwell. Like, you had to go down a stairwell that most people did not use. It was in a pretty inconvenient place. And at the bottom, you could either go forward or you could turn in the exact opposite direction. And there was a big honking locked door. And behind that was a tiny hallway, which led on one side to long-term costume storage, and on the other, a tiny, tiny room that was painted all black and had a light grid on it. So I was in charge of that, and like one day we went in and like, I mean, obviously not just the theater department has keys to that, but like to my knowledge, no other department has use for it. And we get there and there's a bunch of wooden chairs in the room and we have no idea where they're from. They don't look like anything from any common areas. They don't all match themselves. They were stuck here kind of in a little loop. So, we didn't know what to do. There's a very small room. There was not a lot of extra room for chairs. So I think we mostly just put them out in the hallway and we were like, well, someone else can take care of these. But this one chair, I sat down on it and it was like just the most comfortable chair. It's a wooden chair, but I love it. I mean, I was kind of getting up to show you. Well, actually, I was repositioning myself to get even more comfortable because I was hoping maybe that would come across. But I was just like, yeah, this chair's mine now. And I brought it across campus to my dorm room and I used it to sit in. It was a huge update from the little chair that goes with the desk that was in my room. And then when I went home, I brought it with me and I kept it for more than 20 years, like 30 years now. Oh my goodness. Time just keeps on slipping, just slipping, just right into the future. Just keeps on slipping. So, actually, the hat's up there. I'll show you that because it is a great hat. And it's actually just on this shelf up here with my favoriteest mask. So, yeah, I put this on and the guy was just like, yeah, walk out with that hat. I mean, it looks better when I'm in pirate character, but it is fun. And it goes very well with the mask. It's a bauta. Well, it's been a while since I've done Mask of the Day. I can do that, and maybe anyone in the mood for some trivia? I'm kind of in the mood for some trivia. Thanks for following me. I know I've basically just been babbling with you. I was like, oh yeah, be focused, Cubby. Get to the trivia. Keep people entertained. And my brain is a ping pong ball in a hurricane. Always. But I'll fix that later. I might have mentioned this, but it's one of my absolute favorite masks. It's one of my proudest things. This is a Venetian Boda that I got on my honeymoon. My wife and I went for a 1-year anniversary. We did a tour of Italy. We got to see a few wonderful cities. With cruising at night. It was a wonderful time, and I think we discovered that it was not really the right vacation for us. Because you kind of want to go out and just see cities at night, and you can't because you're moving at night. You go from port to port at night. So we never got to see any really visit in any place dinnery time. But also the food on the boat was great. So and it was nice to go out during the afternoon, and we had a little thing where every place we went, we would stop and get a cappuccino. But got this in a mask shop in Venice, and it was great. They gave us a little map of Venice, which was absolutely not detailed enough to use as a map. You could not guide yourself around. So I was very proud that I found this shop using the map they provided to us, and Liz had found a couple of shops that seemed good. We get there, and it's great because I'm like, I mean, I'm in heaven, obviously. I'm staring at everything. I'm taking it all in. But I'm also looking for, this is the mask I want, the social mask of Venice, the classic and so I go for one as soon as I can. Oh, it's even got a little tag from the shop in it. And it was really funny because there were some like Northern European group in the couch, and they wanted the mask that Don Juan wore. That was their thing, but they didn't know what it looked like. And so this was actually the last Bauda in the shop. And by the time the clerk realized what mask they were looking for, I kind of already got it. So I felt bad. Well, because I want everyone to have a beautiful, beautiful Bauda. This is such an incredible mask, such a wonderful, because you have full, you can talk easily, you can eat, you can drink, and I still need to make like the cloth to go on the sides to complete the look, but like I love this mask very much. And there's one more thing that is so wonderful about it, is because it is such a wonderful, beautiful fit that glasses will fit right over it. Which, first of all, means that I can see reasonably well, which is a huge, huge step up from my natural way of seeing. But also, I kind of love this look. I just, this mask with, I love it. I love it. I'm a sucker for it. It also looks really good with my glow-in-the-dark glasses. See? Oh. So I guess this was a little bit mask of the day. Where are my glasses? Here are my glasses. I need more table space. But it won't work, because if I had more, I would fill it up with more stuff because of the ADHD. I'm sure most of you can relate to that, where just that's what surfaces are for. They're for piling things on. Try convincing my brain of anything else. Ooh, nice. And like the great thing is, if it's like when it's, because they only buy stuff that is going to last a long time. So even used, it's pretty much in great shape. But what do you say we do a little bit of trivia? Trivia time! Oh yeah, now as always, I'll do the full card and then all of the answers so that I can play as well. And I grabbed, it's been a little while since I went, I was like, oh, let me get some fresh trivia from down in the trivia stores. I grabbed Trivia Pursuit Game Show Edition. This is a 1990s era, and it's way easier than most editions. So it is a fun one to just breeze through a few cards. The main reason I got this, of course, was for this incredible card caddy, complete with spaces for the classic Trivial Pursuit pie pieces, these weird coin things, which are specific to this game. It didn't come with a board. So it's more of a point system. Also, it even has a little bowl thing for all of the pie pieces and a little Trivial Pursuit die to randomly roll the colors. Now, Trivial Pursuit ended up doing much better dice later than that. It does look a bit like a poker caddy. It doesn't spin, though. But I love this thing, and I'm a little part of being a Trivial Pursuit collector is anytime there's like a new piece, I'm a little obsessed. I love when you can get a new piece, like that's not here. But yeah, so like these silly things. So silly. I love them. But, like I said, nice and easy questions, so we will feel very smart. What U.S. states' nicknames are the Beehive State and this is going to be a lot easier to guess after. The Mormon State. Which U.S. states' nicknames are the Beehive State and the Mormon State? Well, I definitely have a guess. I'm going to wait just a bit because of lag and all. But yeah, it's got to be Utah. There is no West. Delaware is Maryland or Virginia. They should have just made the whole peninsula Delaware. Delmarva. Actually, you know what? Delaware shouldn't be a state. Delmarva should be a state because it's even a better name. But it's got to be Utah. What animated character is a flexible green young man who has been called the Clay Boy of the Western World? Oh, I forgot to say that this category is entertainment. The first one was geography. This is entertainment. What animated character is a flexible green young man who has been called the Clay Boy of the Western World? Oh yeah, definitely Gumby. Definitely. The next category is history. Who was the U.S. president in 1961 when the Berlin Wall was first built? Who was the U.S. president in 1961 when the Berlin Wall was first built? I mean, 60 to 64 is the term for that, right? So it's got to be, 60 to 63, I think. Which should reveal who you think I'm thinking about. But my gut says that I think 60 to 60, the 60 election was JFK. I think. I'm not great at specifics. So I'm not very confident. But the next category is arts and literature. And that's a much more fun category than history. What gals does the song ask to come out tonight and dance to the light of the moon? What gals does the song ask to come out tonight and dance by the light? Won't you come out tonight? Won't you come out tonight? Won't you come out tonight? Which, honestly, I never really, I don't know what sense of the word they use. I am delaying just a little bit. This one, I know. Well, when I was a kid, they still played It's a Wonderful Life on every channel all the time during Christmas season. It was before, Disney bought up the rights so that they could only show it once. I mean, the whole It's a Wonderful Life only became a cultural phenomenon because it was dirt cheap. So every station could play it. So it feels like such a betrayal to have the rights snatched up and being like, oh no, we have to have a special showing for It's a Wonderful Life. But when George is courting Donna Reed, when Jimmy Stewart's courting Donna Reed, he plays this, and it's Buffalo Gals. Buffalo Gals, won't you come out tonight? Won't you come out tonight? Won't you come out tonight? Buffalo girls, won't you come out tonight and dance by the light of the moon? But I've never actually looked into it, so I'm not sure if they are Buffalo Gals because they live in the city of Buffalo, if they are some sort of human bison hybrid, or they simply are bullies. After all, Buffalo, 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 Buffalo. Yeah, good guess, Kitty, but it turns out fat bottom girls make the ever-loving world go round. Major source of geo-rotational energy. Next is science and nature. What is studied and cultivated by pomologists? That's so stupid. I mean, I'm sorry. It just is. It just is. Copyright law is so stupid. Pomologists. And just so you know, it's P-O-M-O-L. Pomologist. Nice. Very clever. Is that you're soaking in it? You're soaking in it right now. Okay, that's nobody. That's way too far in the past. Pomologists. I don't know. I'm drawing a total blank on this one. So I'm going to say cheerleaders. They study cheerleaders. They study and cultivate cheerleaders because of the pom-poms. And the last category is sports and leisure. So let's hope it's leisure because I'm not good at sports. What New Year's Day football bowl is played in Dallas, Texas? Yeah, it's a sports one. Like, the only New Year's Day football game that I can think of is the Rose Bowl, and I think that's in LA. I think that's in Southern California. I just don't know. But here's the thing. I don't watch a lot of sports, so it's not much of a surprise. I'm going to start with the questions. If anyone else has any guesses as to yes, okay, thank you. Then it is on New Year's Day, right? Because honestly, if I remembered one of the New Year's Day bowl games, I'm pretty proud of myself for getting that right. That's impressive. The answers are Utah. Yes, we got it. Gumby. Yes, we got it. JFK. Yes, we got it. Buffalo. Yes, we got it. And fruit. Pomologists cultivate and study fruit. I would just call them horticulturalists. That's just a subdivision of horticulture. And thank you, Zark and Frood, because it was the cotton boll, which is a terrible thing to make a bowl out of. Oh, it's like a cereal bowl. You don't make a bowl out of cereal. You use the bowl. So it would be a, like an ornamental dish to lay out cotton swabs and cotton bowls for guests. Maybe tampons, They can be cotton-based. Oh, yeah. Oh, the time of the month. Just check the cotton bowl, would you? We do aim to please. All right. So we did pretty good. 5 out of 6, not bad. But I think we might get 6 out of 6 on this one. Watch it be the hardest card in the deck. That'd be hilarious. Where would you look in Manhattan to find the Strawberry Fields, named in honor of John Lennon? It's a park. Okay, here's the thing. There's the place he was living, and I think there's a park across the street from that. Or no, it's in Central Park. Yes, Kitty, I think you're right. I think, yeah. Yeah. Because there is a park across from the thing, and there's a plaque, and one of the last times I was in Manhattan, we kind of walked by. I don't know why I'm making excuses. Visiting famous death sites seems very much like something I would be into. I never got very into the Beatles or Lennon musically. Nothing against them. I'm just not that into boy bands. Oh, and that was geography. The next, of course, is entertainment, which is maybe my favorite category. Who played Mrs. Kramer in the movie Kramer versus Kramer? I know the answer to this. I do. I know the answer to this. Because the history of the filming is very interesting. Dustin Hoffman, probably very talented man. Probably not a great guy. Certainly has treated a few co-stars pretty roughly, including this one who it was her first major movie role. But I gave it a little time. I didn't want to just burst it out in case anyone was like, it's on the tip of your tongue. That's so frustrating, right? When you're on the verge of remembering and then someone says it and it's, although honestly, if I spend too much time on the verge of remembering, it's like I'll just stay on that verge until I hear it. But it was Meryl freaking Streep. She actually wrote her courtroom speech herself. But Dustin Hoffman had been like wanting to get a really good performance out of her, so he did a lot of like belittling of talking to the goal was to get her into a more receptive emotional state, I guess, but I don't agree. And it's like you hear, and it's Meryl Streep. You don't. It's Meryl Streep, Dustin. I'm pretty sure she can handle it on her own. But the proof is, like, because it had been a difficult process for her, when she did that speech, she made sure that he had absolutely no access to her on that day, because it was kind of the emotional linchpin of her character. It was very important. And then, of course, without any of his meddling, she was better, if anything. So I hope he learned a lesson, but the next is history. Next category is history. What U.S. state was Adlai Stevenson governor of before he was named ambassador to the United Nations? What U.S. state was Adlai Stevenson governor of before he was named ambassador to the United Nations? I have no idea at all. Now, okay, right now there's this thing where governor seems to be, like, in general, a good resume builder for candidacy, but it used to be that you had to be governor of, like, California, New York, or Illinois for it to actually be a stepping stone. It used to be you had to be in a very politically powerful state. Like, so I'm just going to guess Illinois, just because I know Chicago has been, I mean, politics in Chicago, I know it's a mixed thing, but I'm just going to say Illinois because I have no idea whatsoever. And I think this means there's a really good chance we're not going to get 6 for 6 on this one, which means we're going to have to do another card after this. I mean, oh no. But the next category is arts and literature, which are, look, when I'm playing Trivial Pursuit, entertainment, arts and literature, science, nature, those are my go-tos. What snowman had a button nose and 2 eyes made out of coal? Well, we know it's not Nippy. Nippy has a carrot nose. And Nippy's eyes are made out of human eyes. We never got into that, but there's a lot of darkness in Nippy's past. No, I'm just kidding. I think you might be overthinking this one. It's what snowman had a button nose and 2 eyes made out of coal. And then I used it as an excuse to talk about Nippy. No, I'm kidding. Nippy doesn't have human eyes in it because we don't actually know, but there's enough reason to suppose that Nippy the Snowman is actually a sentient hat that can take control of snow. I kind of want to know what song you were thinking of. Was there like a 90s hit about a snowman? Because I don't remember one, but like pop music is a little bit of a weak spot sometimes because I've just never really listened to whatever was popular. Like, you know, people start talking about hip albums and I'll be like, oh, I don't really listen to pop music. I feel weird. But I'm like, I never have. I've never been with it. I've never been hip or cool. But I'm pretty sure the answer is Frosty. And that brings us to science and nature. What elementary substance makes up both coal and diamonds? This is also pretty easy. Oh yeah, I knew somebody was gonna get it quick. Carbon. Also, pure carbon. Graphite. That's also pure carbon. Make some real nice nanotubes out of that. Okay. I think, man, that sounds vaguely like, I think I've heard about that before, but I can see why I wasn't really familiar with it. But like, man, there's always been Chet Hayes out there, white guys rapping in patois. Just don't do it. Don't be a Chet Hayes. Don't be a Chet Hayes. Be a other son of Tom Hanks, Colin Hayes. Hey, he's nice. He looks affable. He plays a lot of nice guys and move like, oh, like he looks a little awkward. Fine guy. We share a birthday. Same year and day. I think I learned that when the newspaper used to have, well, they might still have it, but like near the comics, they would have a little thing which would just list celebrity birthdays. You got to find out. Or maybe I looked on Wikipedia, because you can look by days, and I've definitely lost days to very strange search criteria on Wikipedia. Like at karaoke, yes. I don't, because like, yes, enough as time has passed for no, but we still have white patois rappers. There's a guy there's also a fairly infamous, I think, Toronto rapper who does a lot of patois and gets flack for it. But again, I only passing knowledge. I watch a lot of YouTube. And there's only one question left on this card. Sports and leisure. Oh, and it's a leisure question. Thank goodness. What organization publishes the magazine Boys Life? I know this one because I had a subscription as a kid. Yep. I just really liked camping. Also, I do like uniform. Yeah, BSA, Boy Scouts of America. They had it's weird because, like, you know, they have their own, like, comic characters. Like Cracked had Sylvester Smythe. Boys Life had this donkey named Pedro. You are on fire today. It is also worth keeping in mind that this is the easy. I think this is the easiest set of trivia cards I have that is not specifically marketed to children, which I like it. It's that sweet spot of stuff. It's like, it's perfect because it's a little bit of a challenge. It's been long enough. It's from the 90s and stuff, but it's easy enough. It's like, I love this deck. I didn't know how much I would love this deck when I got it. Ooh. Awesome. Gitchigume. Shebana Shore and a Hashitashitash. Oh, and that was the last on the card. So it is answer time, my friends, which is mostly a victory lap. Because Central Park, heck yeah. Meryl Streep, heck yeah. Hot tamale, boys and girls, and everyone in between and otherwise not covered. It was Illinois. I got it. Using dumb luck and a very small amount of logic. We got it. Frosty, Carbon, Boy Scouts of America. 6 for 6 team, 6 for 6. We are all on fire today, Zark and Frood. I'm feeling so good. I'm just going right into the next card because I'm loving this. What volcano responsible for the destruction of the city of Pompeii is the only active volcano on the mainland of Europe? Also, it's kind of an island. Like, not to be a jerk, but like, can you really consider Vesuvius to be on the mainland of Europe? I guess they mean the continental shelf. So the fact that there's a little bit of Mediterranean Sea in between Vesuvius and the mainland probably isn't. Oh, but listen, it might be on the mainland. I'm pretty bad at geography, which is the category. But yes, I'm very certain it's Vesuvius. Which brings us to entertainment. What name is shared by a carnival worker and the host of The Price is Right? Lovely. Yes, definitely Barker. What a cute question. Who traditionally... Oh, see, that's one of my favorite pitfalls of Trivia Collection is that the cards don't change, but sometimes the facts do. Also, wouldn't it be amazing if there was like a carnival position called a carry? It's like, quick, get the carry in here. Okay. Let me open Discord. I'm going to click it now because my computer's not great. So it's going to take a couple of minutes to like actually open, but this ensures I will see it. Perfect. I love seeing people in character. I love in character. I love it. I love doing stuff in character. Man, have you ever done a long form improv game in a persona? That stuff is delicious. I don't. My brain is a ping pong ball in a hurricane. So, yeah. No, when I start talking with another ADHer, we just very excitedly jump from topic to topic a lot. But my goodness, are we excited to talk about the thing that we never quite get to. History is the next category. Who traditionally administers the oath of office to the President of the United States? This is also pretty... I got this one. I'm going to not say it right away because of the delay and all. I always want to make sure we get some answers out before I say it because this is, yeah. Yep, exactly. Ooh, okay. Arts and literature. Who wrote the classic novel Ivanhoe? I think I know. A name popped into my head. At first, I was like, I have no idea. I've never read Ivanhoe. I don't really have any idea what it's about. Like, a lot of the canon of literature I might not have read or you know, immersed myself in an adaptation of it or anything. But, like, you pick up a lot. Like, War and Peace, pretty sure it's about war. And also times of not war. Like Jane Eyre? Got an idea? Ivanhoe, no idea. I think it's like a war. I think Ivanhoe is the name of a guy, and I think he like does some soldiering. So I'm going to say the name that popped into my head. It popped into my head right away, so could be right. But it's not a strong association, so I'm also going to say might not be right. But I want to say it's Sir Walter Scott. All right. I don't feel foolish for having said, sometimes you're like, oh, wait, is it this? And then you say it and it's like, oh, yeah, it's Mr. Clean. Oh, he's not real. I do that all the time. Yeah, it at least feels like a respectable guess. So I'm pretty stoked. And of course, that brings us to science and nature. What 16th century scientist supposedly dropped objects from the Leaning Tower of Pisa to prove they fell at the same speed? I think I know. Okay, here's the thing, though. Was it leaning at the time? Because the card says the Leaning Tower of Pisa, but most accounts mention it as from the Tower of Pisa. And the lean is something that started to happen. Oh, does it not lean anymore? I think it might not lean. They might have straightened it. Either that or I know evil Superman did in Superman 3. But then good Superman re-leaned it. Oh, that souvenir salesman was so angry because he had just gotten a whole new order of non-leaning towers of Pisa in, and he was like, ah! And he's yelling in Italian. But I'm pretty sure it was the king of night vision, the king of insight, Galileo. Well, the thing is, Newton is too early. 16th century is the 1500s, and this is like 200 years, I think, too early for Isaac Newton. Also, very famously not a traveler. Mostly just stayed in his attic. He there are numerous suppositions that were Sir Isaac Newton to exist today, he would probably benefit greatly from modern psychological healthcare. But there was a lot of strong reasons to suspect that he might have been a little bit agoraphobic and possibly an ace. Which brings us to the last question on the card, sports and leisure. How many strokes is a golfer penalized for dropping the ball from an unplayable lie? Also, dropping is in quotation marks because, like, look, I haven't played a lot of golf. Mostly I've just played mini golf, but I have ended up in the rough a lot because I am not good at mini golf. And as a child, for some reason, I thought I could compensate by just hitting the ball harder. Not a good strategy in a game of precision. Yes, I think it's 2. I do think it's 2. But I am familiar with the rules of dropping, where you basically try to get it as rough, as close to where it either went off the rough or as close to the eventual placement as you can. But let's find out some answers, my friends. Mount Vesuvius, oh yeah. Barker, oh yeah. Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, oh yeah. Sir Walter Scott, oh yeah. Galileo, oh yeah. And only one. Huh. Maybe it's 2 for a water hazard? There's definitely a thing that's like more stroke. You can lose more strokes than that. Like, yeah. Honestly, I don't feel bad for not getting the golf question. Like I said, the only golf I really care for is mini golf. And I haven't even mini golfed in a good long time. I'm going to have to, because it is a dream of mine to just show up at a mini golf course in, you know, a full old-timey golf outfit with a small golf bag filled with just putters. Like, just being the a-hole who takes it way too seriously. That sounds like a lot of fun. That definitely sounds like my brand of fun. And I'm actually one step closer than I was last week, because recently I went out to check the mail, and what do I find in the weird little area that's not quite the dumpsters, but sometimes people stick things there that they don't want, but they're not going to bother to like bring to a place where it can be. They're just like, I don't care if it gets thrown out, but if anyone wants it, here it is. And I found a putter. Because here's the thing. Putters can be very expensive. And I don't want to spend money for a silly gag costume. So, you know, the thing is, basically, if something's going to cost you, it is going to cost you one way or the other. But it's a pretty convenient currency to shift things into is if you don't want to pay a lot of money, you can pour time into it. And there's actually a lot of ways. One is with putters, I knew the key was waiting. Because you, in this life, one comes across putters that are being thrown out. But not with regularity, not with anticipation. So like it's easy to find putters for very, very cheap thing. Exactly. At some yard sales, but it's not dependable. It's not an easy thing. So you just got to wait. I mean, the other way you can lessen the financial cost and increase the chronological cost is in crafting. Honestly, there are a lot of other advantages because, you know, a lot of the things I make don't exist in the world. I can't buy it. It's not a matter of money. Like the Cubaphone. I just used the Cubaphone last night, and that's like a little megaphone with a kazoo Merleton built into the system so that when I sing, it sounds weird. I made an acoustic voice modulator. I've made a couple. I'll make more. There are more ways to physically modulate your voice without electronics. Okay, so we've got a good 15 minutes left. We can definitely do a card. I mean, we might be able to do 2 more cards. This is not a hard one for geography. What U.S. state holds the grueling 1,100-mile Iditarod dog sled race? You know something I just recently learned about the Iditarod? It is Yes. It is actually considered a celebrated position to be the last person to finish an Iditarod, because it's yes. But I never saw Balto. Does he do the Iditarod? That's so cool. But there's a thing where it's kind of, they celebrate the last person to finish with the understanding that that is the person who had the hardest, who spent the most time fighting the elements. Like, there is respect shown to whoever was not able to finish any quicker than that. Like, I love that outlook. Like, just finishing is enough of an accomplishment that you have to single out the person who it took the longest to finish, because it just shows their commitment. The fact that they did it. They finished. I love that. That's a great, I want to remember that for more things in my life, that I should celebrate poor results because it's still a finish, and the poor results means that it wasn't easy, and you should respect that it wasn't easy and they still finished. Which brings us to entertainment. Where is the bridge that Gary Cooper's American mercenaries blow up in Hemingway's For Whom the Bell Tolls? Dang. Okay, here's the problem. Never read it. Never saw it. I don't know, but I do know it is early 20th century. It was military. I want to say Spain. I feel like it might have been the Spanish Civil War. Might have been. I know a lot of others. I mean, that's the one George Orwell fought in. Like, a lot of that was a very appealing to war to intellectuals in a way, because it was very directly a fight against fascism. But I don't know. If anyone else has a better guess, knowing that it might even be like Cuba, I don't know, maybe South America. It's Hemingway. Just not sure. Okay, history. What former First Lady is the mother-in-law of the senator from Virginia, Charles Robb? What former First Lady is the mother-in-law of the senator from Virginia, Charles Robb? 1990s. That's worth saying. Ladybird's a good guess. I almost want to say Kennedy again, just because that was a big family, and she remarried. Like, there are a lot. Jackie and ass Jackie O. Part of me wants to say Jackie O. I like Ladybird's a good guess. Definitely can't be Nancy. I feel like Barbara Bush is too recent, or there's a good chance she was First Lady when this card was written. I can't be Nancy Reagan. I don't want to think about Pat Nixon, because I don't want to think about Dick Nixon. We could just name First Ladies. Oh, could it be Carter? Because of Virginia. See, I don't know anything about this Charles Robb. Look, we've thrown out a lot of words. I think it's okay to just admit we don't know the answer to this one and move on to arts and literature, because that's also a more fun category. How did Thomas Edison finish the phrase, "Genius is 1% inspiration and 99%"? Touching boobs. Oh, perspiration. Sorry. Okay, Zarkenfrude. Great answer. All right. Next, science and nature. What DuPont fabric created a shopping frenzy in 1939 when stockings made from it were stronger and cheaper than silk? Dang, Johnny O'Twitch, that was Oh! Evelyn Evermore, another great answer for the Thomas Edison quote. And Johnny O'Twitch, crazy fast. But yeah, definitely nylon. Definitely nylon. And that means we just have one question left on this card. That's sports and leisure. And unfortunately, it is a sports question. So, where did the New York Giants play baseball after leaving New York in 1958? Good guess. Good guess, because no one understands the infield fly rule. Or I don't. I don't understand it. And I refuse to listen to any explanation. That is technically correct, which, as we all know, is the best kind of correct. You know, that's where I remember the Giants ending up. I feel like there could have been an intermediary step between New York and San Francisco, but I mean, what are we going to say? Like Cleveland? Like someplace that's just on the way or something? I don't know. Did you hear the part where I refused to listen to any explanation? Because I'm not above covering my ears and going, la, 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 la. That seems like a hard place to place baseball. But still, let's see what the answers say. Alaska? Heck yeah. Spain! I was right. Yes. You know what? Having just a very, very broad and shallow understanding of the 20th century comes in handy sometimes. Lady Bird Johnson. Thank you. So Johnny O'Twitch. Beautiful. Excellent. Thank you. Perspiration. Nylon. And they did go directly to San Francisco, my friends. That is 6 for 6. Also known as perfection. We are on fire. Now, we really only have 5 minutes left, but what do you say we do one more card? We might go a little over, but I don't mind. If anyone has to go, I won't be hurt. I'm just having so much fun with trivia right now. So starting off with geography, what English palace has 600 rooms? Although Queen Elizabeth probably only uses one at a time when she's at home in London. Jeopardy does this a lot if you watch it, where they're asking a question that's very difficult. But they are really asking a question that is not that difficult. Because they're basically just asking, when Queen Elizabeth, when she was queen, was in London, what home was she at? And yeah, it's got to be Buckingham. What was the title of the Beatles' first feature-length film? I'm pretty sure, yeah. I gotta say, I've never seen it. King of Species. There are two big problems with that as an answer. One is that I can name at least two movies they did before that. And the other is that they didn't do anything in the movie. They weren't in it at all. They had voice actors doing that. Yeah, it was the black and white one. I've never actually seen it, but I gotta say, like, I've seen clips from it, and it's very funny. There's a lot of fun goofiness in it. Help was, I'm pretty sure Help was after that, but before thing. I might have seen that. I definitely saw the beginning of it late at night once. Maybe I fell asleep. It's a little weird. Ringo gets a MacGuffin that's a ring stuck to his toe because he was wearing lots of rings on his toes. And this is a strange movie. It's a very strange movie. What government office, sorry, we're going to history now. What government office has been held by Hannibal Hamlin, Levi Morton, and Andrew Johnson? Hannibal Hamlin, Levi Morton, and Andrew Johnson. What government office? Is it president of the Confederacy? Johnson was president of the Confederacy, right? I don't know those other names. So I know I usually pause a little bit more, but I'm like, you know, when you've got one guess and you're very unsure of it, but it's the only guess you've got, I'm not going to have another guess. So hopefully either one of you recognizes those names and can help out, or maybe, just maybe, I was correct. Arts and literature. What relative did King Midas turn into gold? Okay, Secretary of the Treasury is that's a good guess. That is a good government office. I think it was. See, okay, this is really interesting because I wanted to say daughter. Yeah. My gut says daughter. But I wouldn't be, but mother or son fits the whole like unintended consequences horror like really nicely. So if it's any of those, we got it right. Science and nature. What is the active ingredient in the preparation called smelling salts? Okay. You know, sometimes you see the question and a word pops into your head and you're like, oh, and then you're like, oh no, that's not the right answer. That's not the right answer at all. It's not pure ammonia, though. I believe I believe it's ammonium nitrate. I believe it's a nitrate salt of ammonium, but I believe it's ammonia based. But the nitrate is important because what popped into my head was amyl nitrates, which is definitely not something you would give to a grieving widow. You know, I shouldn't say that. Everyone processes grief in a different way. I'm going to be honest, I've never done them. I would try it, but like preferably with people. You know, I don't know. I'll try anything once. Well, not anything. Not anything. That's on my list of tryable. I would try. And the last question on the card is sports and leisure. What is the first name of Phylicia Rashad's famous sportscaster husband? I know who Phylicia Rashad is, which I'm guessing at least some of you don't. Phylicia Rashad played Claire Huxtable on the Cosby Show. She played Clifford Huxtable's wife. And Cliff was Bill Cosby. But I do not know who she is married to. And it says what is the first name, so I'm guessing his last name is Rashad. I don't know a lot of sportscasters. And this is all new information. I don't even have a guess. I'm going to say Joe. That's a good name, Joe. If it's not Joe, I don't think it's not a downgrade. It's a good dependable name. You can be a person with a name like Joe. That sounds like a human name. So let's talk answers, my friends. Buckingham Palace, A Hard Day's Night, U.S. Vice President. They were all vice presidents. That's brilliant, because who remembers vice presidents? It was his daughter. Oh, it just says ammonia. What is the active ingredient? Oh, because the ammonia is the thing that is so shocking to smell that it like shocks you out of a faint. So yes, I still think it's. I mean, if it were pure ammonia, it would kill you. That's not. Like a pure ammonia gas is lethal. I'm pretty sure, but. Yeah, the active ingredient. That makes a lot of sense. And technically, that's what Dr. Andy said. So we are covered. Yes, we did it. And Zark and Frood, yes, it was Ahmad. Also, his name was Ahmad Rashad. That is so fun to say. Ahmad Rashad. Oh, so pleased to meet you, Ahmad Rashad. Beautiful. Well, we didn't get the vice president one, but who cares? Vice presidents are dumb. Or in the case of Dan Quayle, very dumb. But we have come to the end. Oh, I guess I can take the banner down. Thank you so much for joining me. We're going to definitely have Shoshi next week. I think just for a little bit again. I made a little note. Yeah, it's on my calendar, so I know for certain. I'm very certain we've got her next week, and then there's just 1 week in the next few weeks that she's got to miss. So that's not too bad. I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day, and personally, I'm going to go check out those cool pictures of Evelyn on the Discord. So I hope you all have some great plans. Take care. Thank you again. And this is how a virtual company I work for ends our virtual shows. Don't go killing nobody, which is just great advice. Bye.